a contract where we get told you have to tell us where the user is every 30 seconds is unacceptable. The user has to be in control of that. And right now we're actually in serious negotiations trying to figure out exactly how that happens. One of the other things we will do is open up the API so that you can build your own network of information about where there are Wi-Fi points around. You can start building your own location-based services, and you don't need to rely on a third party. You build local stuff for local people, and you keep the information locally. That, I think, is one of the cool things that geolocation enables, that you can actually collect your own stuff.
HTML5 forms. I put this up because forms in HTML4 are pretty basic and boring. People have spent the last 10 years trying to do more complicated things like how do you pick a date? Because in HTML4 you pick a date by typing the date, which, as everybody knows, is month hyphen day hyphen year, except when it's day / month / year or something else. So everybody went out and built really complicated bits of JavaScript and CSS to do this, pop up something you can use to just pick the date. In HTML5 we had this great idea. Let's make that easier. So here is the new code to do it. No CSS required if you're happy with really ugly style. No JavaScript required. Just no JavaScript required. And again, it makes life simple. This stuff was written up in 2005. Opera implemented it around 2005, 2006. We're still waiting for everybody to do it. We're still arguing over exactly what should be changed in forms. In the demonstration that I've linked, there's some nice features like a repeating model. Basically, a way of building templates and then copying them so that you can add stuff to your page instead of doing, building new elements in JavaScript and adding them to the DOM. You just say, this is a template, repeat my template, add. That's not going to happen. Yeah. And we had it. And it's possible in this browser or that browser, but that doesn't make it a standard. The important thing is, how do we convince everybody that it should be possible? Because you can't run Internet Explorer on a Mac operating system. You can't run Safari on an Android phone. If you're a web developer, you're a web developer in part because you want to have access to everybody. And making a standard is different from just inventing the thing. By the way, that particular behavior, that particular capability has been taken out because we couldn't get anyone, or we couldn't get everyone to agree that that was important. I think that's a big shame, but that's the way it is. Canvas, I'm going to skip over. The one interesting thing about Canvas is making Canvas accessible. That could be very, very hard. When Apple invented it 4 or 5 years ago, they didn't even think about it. They were like, no one's going to need accessibility in Canvas. Putting it in HTML5 means, yes, you do, because it's going to be everywhere. And the question is, how exactly do we do that? And there's a live discussion. If anyone has a great idea and wants to get involved, get into the HTML accessibility group, because right now that is a hot topic. Video. Video can be like this, which it is today. This is a random piece of code I took from a random web page. Just lots and lots of junk. Or it can be a simple line. Hope Alex or someone is going to show HTML5 video because it's cool and shiny. It's really basic. It just lets you add a video to a page. Demonstrations. But it comes with problems. In particular, what format do you use? And why does it matter? Well, it matters because if you want to make the web open, if you want to allow anybody to go out and build browsers and anybody to go out and build tools, then it's hard to explain, sure, you can go out and build a browser, but before you start, the MPEG LA licensing group wants you to cough up an unknown amount of money. Right now, their maximum request is only $5 million. So $5 million for the right to be allowed to make a browser. That's before you build a line of code. That's no big deal, right? Is there anyone here who hasn't got $5 million? I'm really the only one? Great. Can I borrow some money, folks? So the format fight is interesting. And it gets more interesting because you see companies like Google who bought onto a big video patent owner who are promoting Ogtheora, a free video format. It's in Chrome. They're about to build it into the ARM platform, a very common mobile processor platform, and who put H.264, a patented format, on YouTube. Does anyone think it's worth making a browser that doesn't handle YouTube? What kind of market is there available for that browser? None. Right? Zero. So, as long as YouTube is requiring this format, it's still a problem. It's not just about whether browsers do Ogtheora or H.264 or DRAC or some new format. It's about what people use. And it's partly about what Google uses, because they're very big and everything they do affects a lot of people. And it's partly about what individuals do, because Facebook has, as we've been hearing all morning, 400 million users, and most of those 400 million, give or take a few spam bots and companies, are individuals. And those individuals make decisions about what kind of formats they want, about what kind of space they're building in Facebook, about whether they care about privacy or not, about whether they care about accessibility. So actually individuals have a role to play in these great big arguments. And with that and not much time left, I'm going to hand over for questions.